Hey, welcome to Grow for Show. Today we have Cuz, and I'm Shooby-Doo. Cuz, how's it going, buddy?
Not too bad, man. How you doing today?
I'm just getting home from work. I'm exhausted, and I'm ready to do the show.
Yeah, sounds like the same day I had.
I'll trade you one
Basically,
day.
yeah, yeah. Your job is definitely more physically demanding than mine. Uh,
Actually, I drove a
I'll
truck
give you
all
that.
day.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, just picking up trucks, that's all.
Yeah. Um, what's going on this week? I guess let's talk a little bit about the week. How's your garden?
It's going good. It's getting smaller. Everything's being chopped down. As we were just talking about, I'm going away for a couple weeks coming up here, so I've been trying to plan it out. Only thing I have left in the flower tent is the blue raspberry truffle, um, dragon punch. I think that's it.
Have you finished the blue raspberry truffle yet?
No,
Okay,
that's
I wanna
yeah, that's the only one that's
get some
just
feedback.
it
Cheers,
takes a
Mertz. What's up, buddy?
it's pretty long. Like it's flower time. It's probably the slowest so far, I'd say.
Yeah,
That or it's
yeah,
just not a
yeah.
yielder, so we'll see what happens.
For some
I already have.
reason, the name makes me want to taste it. I don't even know. Sometimes that happens.
I don't even like blueberries.
I do. I uh
I mean,
I love blue raspberry. That's like a good flavor. I'm wondering and hoping that it's got something blueberry to it or something. What's the cross?
off the top of my head, I can't tell you. Man. There we go.
Yeah, I know it's maybe we'll just pull it up here really quickly.
Yeah.
Um
Oh, sorry, clear my throat.
no problem. So you are cutting that stuff down and then you are
I have
just got sorry, go ahead.
I have all those cuttings I've taken from the keepers. From this
Blueberry
round.
cookies and a rise.
Okay, okay.
See?
So out of the keepers, I've selected a Storm Shadow, a Space Force, the blue raspberry truffle. I'm keeping, but I'm not throwing in the autopod system. I'll be doing that separately. I have a Dragon Punch as well as what is it? Scarlet Begonias. There's one other one I'm missing. Anyways, I've selected 6 that are going in the autopod system for the next run.
Okay.
But right
Yeah.
now they're in solo cups and they're going to stay in there for at least another month.
2 weeks. Yeah. 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 I've done the month or two solo cups before.
Well, my plan is to cut them right back, just so they're just a couple nodes, and then that way, as I'm gone, the wife just waters them, and I'll come
Yeah,
back and they'll be back to where they were.
that's nice. So today, I guess we kind of just
Cheers,
chatted a
Perp.
little bit and said, "Oh, cheers, Perp. Welcome, buddy." Said maybe we talk a little bit about pheno hunting. Maybe we'll start by just giving a quick description of what pheno hunting is, and then we can talk a little bit about how people might go about it and why people do it, or that kind of stuff. And then maybe about some of our experiences doing some pheno hunting. Cheers, Ian.
Ian, nice having you here. I know Mertz, where's GMF when you need him for Pheno Hunt? Get right into it.
Yeah, I know, right? Maybe we should actually.
Just say his
Speaking of
name one more
which,
time, he'll show up. I swear.
let's throw the link out today and see if anybody wants to
Oh yeah,
join us.
we're Canadian, we're friendly.
We're an open show today. What's the password again? G4S. I think we're gonna go with that for today and post. If anyone wants to jump on, feel free. We're just hanging around, having a quick chat about pheno hunting. So let's talk about what pheno hunting is. Pheno hunting. Let's hear your description.
For me personally, I guess it wouldn't be personally, it's not subjective.
Yeah.
It's finding, so the best way I describe it would be if you look at a family, you have a mom, a dad, and then as the children, the siblings come out, or the offspring, they're all the same genetics, but they each look different. So they'll express things differently, as in the sense of their leaf structure, the way the plant forms, bud structure, aromas, terpenes. They'll all vary plant to plant, even though they're the same mother father plant. So pheno hunting for me is looking for that best match that fits my grow. So what matches my grow might not match Cuz's grow, or might not match his merch or perps. It's everyone's got their own space and kind of quirks. Some plants like it hotter, some plants like it colder. It's little bit of work, but yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
definitely worth it.
That was a really good description. I like how you break it down into terms that most people will understand. Talking about a mother and a father and their children.
Yeah.
There, we have the same genetics, but we may, or we most likely will express different expressions, right?
Yeah.
Well, like you said, different internodal spacing, different structure of the bud, different smells and flavors.
But there is a separation between genome expression and pheno expression. So geno would be more of the plant structure itself, whereas a pheno might be environment infected. So if it's a colder environment, it might show purples, where it might show green in a warmer environment. Whereas a
There we go.
geno expression would be one plant, same strain, no matter what the environment is, one grows tall, one
Turning
grows short.
purple or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. It's good information. Good thing you spent some time on Operation Grow, because I'm guessing that's where we learned this stuff, right?
Yep. That, and I have a
Keith's
little
the
bit of a
man for
library
that.
under me I'm reading as I go.
Yeah. Oh, great, great. I did not want to have like a too technical discussion about stuff that I don't understand, because the details of it, I don't. You know, I haven't dug into it enough to say that I can describe it that well. But I understand the process, and I've done some of it myself just by looking for what I want to smoke, and like you said, for what grows well in my environment and that kind of stuff.
There's
Um,
nothing more aggravating than seeing a plant at a buddy's place. He gives you a cutting and it looks nothing like it when you grow it. It's like, damn it.
it you're exactly right, and that would
Yeah.
be the environment that changed
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah. That'd be a pheno.
Really cool. Cheers, Supreme. How's it going, buddy?
Cheers, buddy.
Welcome.
So
Um,
here's a question for you. What do you look for in your grow for your environment? Well, like what kind of phenos do you look for? Taller plants, shorter plants?
I think over the last few years, it's gotten down to what do I like the flavor of?
Oh, you're a terp man.
Yeah,
Well, I
I
guess you
used
squish, so yeah.
yeah, I used to be really
Cheers, MLT.
cheers MLT, thanks for stopping by. I used to be really looking for like what's the biggest yield and what looks the best in the bag and that kind of stuff.
Cheers, BDL.
Not nearly as important to me as it used to be. Cheers, Lori.
This is a 2-minute warm
Um,
for 710 too, by the way.
thank you, thank you. Not
Oh, man.
nearly as important to me anymore, but yeah, I really look for flavor. I like a good high, um, and I like something that squishes really well.
So you look for the foxtail a lot, don't you?
Not foxtail, but
They got an
I
ear
like it.
earbud though.
I like it to have the elbows and shoulders. I like to call them. You know, they just poke out a little bit. I don't want to have a whole arm sticking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just my
like when
surface
they.
area.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I'm always looking for something that squishes well now. That's totally changed.
Yeah.
And I think I may even try to adjust my harvest time a little bit to accommodate that a little. I'm usually I used to be a, straight flower smoker, and now I squish a lot, smoke a lot of rosin. So
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna try that. What do you look for? What's your, expression?
So because I have patience, I have to watch out for yield is a pretty big thing for me. So not just yield though, because if it's a big bud that does nothing for my patience, does nothing for me.
Hmm.
My whole goal is so like do a pheno hunt out of this. I'll give my patients random bags unmarked and say, here, try a little bit of this, give it a day, try max one. Let me know what you think of each one. Give them a little scorecard, they mark it off. And depending on what they say, it was actually what determines my grow.
Okay.
So I hope the plant works best sometimes, but it doesn't always work out that way. And that's the case. I'm forced to do things like trellising. So just to manipulate the plant a little more, or LSD.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's for the most part, the patient's dictator for me. But ideally for me, um, obviously if I can get a decent sized yield of it, that'd be great. But I look for more of a flavor profile as well as the bud structure. So that's what determines for me. I like a nice, like a rock hard bud, being a flower
Hmm.
smoker.
Yep.
It's not PGRs. Let's put it that way. Artificial PGRs. Natural ones occur all the time.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, no, I do like that hard bud structure. It helped. That's what helps with the weight, and I ended up choosing out of the pheno hunt that I just did over the last year and a bit with a strain. I ended up choosing the one that had the chunkier and harder nugs because I narrowed it down to two, and those two both have very, very similar flavor and smell in the bag, and it's just that one that's a little chunkier ended up being the keeper.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, I spent a year and a bit just through four strains or four phenos of one strain because I grew them a couple of times to,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, and that's another thing I like to point out is when I do a pheno hunt, I'll grow a strain multiple times before it's a keeper.
Mhm.
It's not like, oh, this one did good this round. It's mine. No, I constantly keep doing it to make sure it fits the environment. If I change nutrients, I'll run them all again. I might switch my keepers. Just
Almost, I wouldn't say like drastic change or anything, but I would say almost everything I grows a little different the second time I grow it than
yeah.
the first time anyway. And then it sort of levels out a little more second, third time, and then it's kind of gets more consistent. So I'm guessing it's acclimating itself to my environment as well as I'm acclimating myself to how it grows.
Yep, exactly.
Together we are learning each other. um, seven. Oh, we missed the 7:10. Cheers, everyone.
Oh,
8-minute warning to 4:20. I'm gonna hit that. I will get ready for that. Cut some
what
weed
are you
up.
smoking on?
Primal Punch.
Oh, nice,
What I've
nice.
pheno hunted down for the past year and a bit. And that's another thing about pheno hunting. Let's talk a little bit about pheno hunting with a small plant count. Um,
Peasants.
yeah, it fucking sucks. You got four plants and I popped four seeds and then I cycled through them. I took two away right away, right after the first run. I knew for sure it was only one of these two that was going to be. But it took me two more runs to pick the one that I wanted.
Yeah, it takes a while to select them. Like with the Golden Goat pheno I kept there, it was I think 3 runs with it before I selected
Yeah,
my keeper.
yeah, it was three for me as well.
I usually run in the auto pot, then the cocoa and fabric pots, and then which one does better, I'll do it again and see if it's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, my last run was organic, which was kind of cool. With it, I I don't feel like it came out with much of a different flavor or anything.
you're a salt man.
No, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens when the next run comes again.
Yeah. But yeah, so far in the garden there with the small plant count, my suggestion would be for people would be if you have a friend that's into a university for a botany program or horticulture, if they do tissue culture, they're your best friend. It'll save you on plant count because you'll be able to keep that keeper from that round, pop 4 more. But if you don't have access to that or you don't know how to do a tissue culture, which that's okay. I don't know how to do it. It's a tricky situation from my understanding, and it has to be very sterile. Um, would be you pop your 4 seeds. Out of that, you find your keeper. That's your first round. Keep cutting of that. Pop 3 more seeds. Find the keeper from that. Pop 2 more seeds. Find the keeper from that. Pop 1 more seed. Find the keeper from that. And by this time, you've run the first one so many times, the second one so many times, and the third one just half the amount, so that you should have a good variance of how each one grows. And then from there, you'll find your keepers of that batch, and that's my dominant keeper.
Yep,
You're
good way to
essentially
do
doing a
it.
pyramid tournament, just building it up.
Especially if you're popping packs of seeds that you're not sure what you're looking for. Like sometimes you're buying a pack of seeds because you've seen something else that somebody else grew, and you're looking for that. If you're looking for that, then you
Good luck.
flower things out and look for it. Yeah, yeah, it's not easy, but there's a chance.
So for the most part, with cheers, Dab Goblin. For the most part, I've noticed with pack, at least with Irie Genetics, there's anywhere from 4 to 8 phenos. I generally find with his plants, and they're pretty consistent coming up. There is the odd outlier, like for the Golden Goat S1, there was that one that flowered took pretty much 6 months, 126 days.
Holy shit.
The downside is that was almost a keeper if it wasn't for the flower time, because that stuff was amazing. It yielded crap, but it was frosty and it just tasted. It wasn't the pledge piney kind of taste. It was more of a, I'd say, a piney funk. It still had
Mm.
the pine to it, but nowhere near as dominant. More of a funk, and it was, yeah. Let's just say, I wish I got that stuff tested.
Yeah, so um, done a few other pheno hunts. Another good thing to keep in mind, since we were talking about friends, because you were talking about having friends that can possibly tissue culture or something like that. Another, just some other friends that grow. It's really good, so you can share some cuts with them
Genetics.
and keep it. Also help you do pheno hunt. Maybe you guys can split on a pack of seeds and split half each or pop half each, and if you
That's
grow similar,
keep flying
you
them
know,
out and
you're
doing
just going
that.
to want to make sure that it's someone that you grow similar to. And if you don't know anybody in your area who grows weed, and maybe you should join our community here, and maybe you'll meet somebody. That's the whole point of us having this together, more than education or any of that, is just to grow a community. We it's a smaller community, I feel like, here in Canada for some reason. Eh, and we've been doing it for so long.
Pretty
um
much.
yeah, I feel like we need to bring it up a little more. And I don't want to pigeonhole us to just being a Canadian community either. Please, everybody from anywhere, join us.
Well, especially with
um
everything going legal now.
yep, we're here to help the home grower. It's called Grow Your Four because that's what our legal limit is. But
I will give the
any home
tip to
grower.
people who are in the States, everything's going just legal. I'd say invest in concentrates companies that just pop up, because usually the market goes from flower to concentrates pretty quickly.
Mhm.
It's a little tip. Colorado did it, Canada did it. It's a trend.
I just started making my own concentrates because that same reason.
Yep.
2 minute warning to 420, everybody. 2 minutes. So you got any phenos that you've kept around right now that you've had
Oh yeah.
for a period of time?
So the Golden Goat S1, the football, is what it's
Mhm.
been dubbed. That one stayed. It's like I said, piney pledgy, test high, 28%. The 32 is what it ranges. It just depends how it's grown when it's chopped. And it yields like a motherfucker. Sorry for the language. The AK-39, the one I bred with, that's a keeper.
Yeah.
It's so out of that pack of seeds, I had 2 packs of 10. So 20 seeds were popped at separate times. Only one has not hermed on me. The rest were really delicate. So just environmental herms, or intersex traits, I should say.
Mhm.
So I kept the one that had probably the strongest genetics. I'd hope so. And I've done breeding with that. So let's see how it turns out.
Yeah, that's cool.
And there's also the Storm Shadow. The male, there's a keeper there. But I just collected the pollen from that one. I didn't keep it around. As well as the female plant, which I've dubbed it Storm Shadow B because it was B in the list.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. I've only got two real phenos that I've kept that I keep as keepers, and for the last year, the one of them I haven't even grown. It's been at my friend's house. He's been keeping it alive and running, and um,
I'm
I'll,
envy.
I'm gonna get her back now, right now, because I'm ready to fit. I got space again because I picked down to one primal. So I'm going to um, start growing that out, and then I popped a couple seeds, so some time to start looking for something else new. I want something else, a new flavor. Um, this primal turned out really, really nice, but I think I want something less heady, more body, and with that flavor that I like. Oh, cheers, everyone! It's
Cheers.
420. Sure, I'll do a bomb hoot. Why not?
Go ahead. My computer just popped up a bunch of windows for no reason. What the hell's going on? Anyways, as well as I'm in the middle of a pheno hunt with a bunch of Irish strains for these, like a space forest. I think I have a keeper for that, as well as my Dragon Punch.
Cool.
So, yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still got to test it to see if the numbers turn out. And for the most part, the space forest is drying right now. The Dragon Punch is still growing. It's getting chopped on Friday, but just the way the plant looks and compared to the other ones, that's my keeper. She's way frosty for some reason. It was in the back corner. It was the neglected plant, and it's just pummeled through it. So it's okay. Cheers, 420 Ben. You were just in
What?
time.
How long? How long would you keep a pheno that you hunted around for? Cheers, 420 Ben.
With a 4 plant count or with my plant count? Those are two separate
Well, let's keep it. Let's talk both
answers.
because I think we should talk a little bit about how a small or a micro grower would also handle it because I'm sure we're going to get people who have the 12 plant count, people who have 20
25.
plant counts. Yeah. So there's a lot of medical patients here in Canada, and I'd like to really cater to them as well. So I think
Uh, with the
we kind of talk general. Yeah.
with the 4 plant count, I try and it would just be odds are I keep one keeper.
Mhm.
I'd have one, I call it a wild card. It'd be a seed that pops, see how that turns. And then the other 2 plants would be cuttings from the keeper.
Okay.
And that's how I would do it. And I would keep that keeper probably, well, first off, the select it'd be 3 runs minimum. Probably 3 or 4 more runs after that. Just so I got pretty much so I had enough that was in the freezer and I was good for a while with that one strain. If
Yeah.
I'm doing repeated grows, like back to back ones. If I'm
Okay.
growing it and smoking it all, then growing it when I'm halfway out, who knows how long
You
I
need to
keep.
grow more of that. Yeah, because you know that's the one that's good. Yeah, I've only pheno hunted a few times, and usually I get cuttings from people. I've just been doing that for a long time. Big community around here, right? So uh,
There's
I've
one
only
here
pheno
too. I
hunted.
just don't involve with
Yeah,
it.
not yet. You
Yeah,
will maybe over time.
I'm terrified
Maybe
of
not.
bugs. Sorry,
Yeah,
I don't do
get
it.
slips. Someone once said to me, get the cut. Don't not a rooted cut. Just get a cutting. Root it yourself.
Even that, nope. I'll
I
just
know, but
what
it
strain is it? I'll get seeds.
narrows it down a little bit. So yeah, I've only done a few,
Yeah.
and in the few, I mean, like I kind of keep them around until forever, until there's something that takes its place. Like it has to be there. I guess that's the whole point of pheno hunting for me is like there has to be something that takes its place,
Yeah.
or else it just stays there.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
With the 4 plant count, at most I would keep 2 keepers, and it's pushing it. But just to have that variety, because you will get a tolerance to one strain. You get that strain lock, and then yeah, then you might choose up on the foot. Now with my higher plant count, I keep cuttings like certain strains a long time. So my AK-39 was the very first strain I popped, like 2, 3 years ago. My indoor setting. So yeah, it's been around for a while. Now I
this
popped.
master that I'm growing has been grown from friends of mine for the last close to 8 years. I'm guessing
So
this
that,
master, and I've had it for 4 years,
nice.
and I didn't hunt it. They did,
Okay.
um, but that was a cutting I got. So that's another thing. So so they hunted this out. At this point, it's a clone only. Uh, we didn't really even talk about that. There's some phenos or cuts out there we that are clone only.
Gorilla Glue 4.
Yeah, I mean
It's called 4.
you could self it and make seeds and hunt for it again. But like we talked about earlier,
You
you're
go,
hunting. You're just going to get a bunch of brothers and sisters and hope that you find a twin. Um, yeah,
yeah.
there's a few of those around there. If you get your hands on something that someone tells you is a clone only cut and it's something that agrees with your palate and your profile, don't get rid of that because you'll regret it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, I want you
Everyone
to get
has
your hands
one
on.
plant that gets away from them, and you can always remember that one plant. You're like, if I could just find it. If I
I
could just
lost a Bubba that I loved.
oh, was it pre-98 or no?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. It was just a good Bubba that a few of my friends were growing. It was definitely something that wasn't like a clone only cut or anything. There's something they just hunted themselves, but it was clone only at that time, I guess. But
If I could find the pre-98 Bubba, I would pay a large money for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Bubba Kush. I'm sure I can get some around where I'm at. I mean, there's lots of people who grow it, so I just don't have the plant count, so I haven't tried lately.
Damn laws.
Yeah, hopefully that changes soon.
If it changes, I hate to say it's probably gonna go the other way we wanted to.
No, I went for my medical, so hopefully that works out
Yeah.
and I can have a little more to work with. If that happens, we'll get a lot of I'll take some video and get a lot of content that way. It'll be really nice to have.
Yeah. I was waiting for the new house. Wait for looking for a new place, and I get a dedicated grow area, no longer 2 tents.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, my grow area is all cleaned out now, finally. The flowering area. And I've made all the new cuts. Remember I told you I cut everything right down to nothing. I cut it right down to nothing just to keep that alive. Well, I made clones. When the clones, I just got rid of those. Now my clones are rooted.
Yeah.
And now I'm just waiting for them to get to the point that I can transplant them and start flowering.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm excited. Try something new. I know that your garden's going to be empty and then you'll be empty for a little bit. You got some work and things to do.
Empty-ish. There's
Yeah, what's your
cuttings going on.
What's your plan for cuttings?
Like, what do I have taken already?
Mhm.
Just I took 2 cuttings of all the keepers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I have those. I'm gonna cut those down. They're right now in solo cups about 1.5 foot at most.
Mm.
Really stringy, so I'm just gonna chop them right down low. I'm gonna fill the reservoir for the wife, mix the newts for her. It's gonna be on the same feed schedule. I'm gonna make it as simple as possible because first,
she can do it.
well, no, she can do it, but she hates cannabis like you wouldn't believe.
Okay.
So the fact that she's doing this is a godsend.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You got a good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So yeah, what about you? You took your cuttings.
Just waiting. Yeah. Cuttings about a week ago. I just saw a little bit of pokey outie last night.
Yeah.
I'll give them a few more days in there. I like to see them like dangling, and then transplant, and then it's fucking game on from there. I can start as soon as they're into a solo cup. I feel like I can start working them a little bit now. Like giving them the light. Give them a few days, but.
When you talk about getting more light, this is something I find weird. I always give my seedling plants the full SF4000 when they're in there.
Yeah, but they're further away, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're small. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually raise and lower my light right now, and because I'm keeping it dim just to keep the power lower on it, and it's really easy to raise and lower. So I got the power down a bit, and I just dimmed it.
Okay.
Yeah. I just use I would like to invest in a par meter, but I just use this app on the phone. You take a piece of paper, you make a diffuser out of it over your camera, this app, and you tell it what type of light you use. From what people who have par meters say, that it's fairly accurate. Even from Steve from HLG talked about it.
Oh,
that GML and them guys used it a little bit just to kind of see. I mean, it's accurate enough to know that you're within the area to, not kill your plants.
Exactly.
What you need.
Get some bleaching.
Yeah.
It's variegation. No, it's not.
Yeah, that happens, especially under LED lights.
I bleached a Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Oh, badly. First time with the SF4000. It got a little out of hand with that one plant. It stretched like nothing else. It was pretty much a 200% stretch. And it touched that light, maxed out. And I was like,
I've gotten like curlied up leaves and a lot of different stresses. It looked like they were deficient. It always looks like deficiencies of some sort. And for the first while, I was trying to correct the plants, thinking there was a problem. And then finally someone told me, I think your lights are too intense. I was like, oh, before it was my first starting with LEDs, right? And I went right into like a very high power.
Mr. HLG.
Yeah, I never started with like a blurple, and I had the
I still
learning
have
curve.
my first blurple. It's still doing seedlings right now. I'm like cutting it under it, and it does wonders. If you're
Save
watching this,
up for a
don't get a
Pulse
burble.
Pro. It lets me see my lights. Oh yeah, you have, yeah, the Pulse Pro has a par meter in it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I do. I do calculate DLI. That's why I use that little app.
We don't talk about the pulse in the show.
No,
Pete will get mad.
I wouldn't use one of those anyway.
No, I use a Piano Grow miner system,
Yeah,
which actually
PL
just
Go system.
has a pre-order for the CO2 sensors, which has me very interested.
Yeah, I
But
saw that.
because I have kids, I have to wait for it.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, excited to get that one. Then we'll really get to see what the TMB Naturals does in the tent.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see if it's actually,
Where's
like
the wild in a vented and non-vented area?
when I was talking about CO2 with someone a while back, the first thing he said to me, well, first thing you need to do is just invest in a monitor because you got to at least know what you're working with. I
Yep.
was like, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
that's
that
true.
makes sense, right? Because if it's in your house and it's in an area where there's a lot of people and people are in there all the time, you may have better CO2 levels than you think.
No worries, bud. No worries, Ben.
LOL. He's like,
Pete's sleeping right now, anyways. He'll see the show in a couple hours. I'm like, what the fuck?
at least we spoke up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You don't bite the hand that feeds.
Mhm. That's right. Um, anything else about pheno hunting we should talk about?
Keep
Hmm.
track of it when you're doing a pheno hunt. Don't do it by memory. There's a lot of information. Like when I do a pheno hunt, I note down everything. Every week I go down there and I have a binder and it's got a column for A, column for B, column for C, where how many cuttings I have going or seeds, and then I'll have like leaf structure, serration on the leaves, um, node spacing. Like I'll measure it out. I'm very detailed with it to make sure I have what works for me.
That's a really good idea, especially if you're doing lots of flowers. And here we are talking really small scale, and that made me start to think about like large scale guys who may pheno hunt, 100 seeds at a time, or
They
you
have
know,
a few people helping, but
I understand that, but
that's why you
that's
take notes.
you got to really get to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way I treat it as is if I'll take my notes as detailed as I can in case, for instance, I go to work something like that and someone's taken over. They can just look at my notes and go, well, this is where you left off. Well, this is this. It makes it so much easier. And I ask them to do the same notes for me. Any changes? Now, whether they do it or not, it's a different story. But at least I have the base camp that I left for myself.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my biggest input.
It's a great topic, though. We could talk a little bit about
Note taking.
note taking. Yeah, like what are some good topics to have in the note taking section? I heard you say a few that were really good, like node spacing. Maybe we'll talk about the 3 week stretch. Maybe
Yeah.
you want to make notes about
Flower structure,
flower structure.
pistil
What
thickness.
day did it start showing sign of flower?
Yep.
What day did you see your first pistil starting to turn brown? That's important to me because that helps me decide on my flushing, because I think it's super important to start flushing a plant when it's still pumping white pistils. And I don't mean like strongly pumping, but it's still, I don't want it to be turning brown yet,
Yep.
because I feel like it's not absorbing, it's not working fast enough. I feel like it started to shut down when that happens.
Yep. Senescence is
Anyway,
kicked in.
that's a whole other subject, but we can talk about how many weeks it took to when you liked the trichome and the finish that you wanted.
Yep.
Yeah, good things to write in the book and take notes of. Mm-hmm. How long did it take the veg to get to the height that you were looking for?
Yep. And if you're doing, for instance, what I do, it makes it a little bit easier for me because I run multiple tents. If you're just doing like one plant, one tent, and you have 4 tents, keep a notebook for each tent. Don't take it out of
Mhm.
there because you always forget to bring it into you when you're going there, and you'll see something you want to note down and you'll forget about it. We're stoners, it happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's dollar 99 for a notebook. Like, go dollar store, paper. Use your cell phone. Voice
Absolutely.
notes are a wonderful thing.
Voice notes are great.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a calendar. That's what I keep. I keep a calendar in my grow space, and I write notes on there, and then I have a little space beside it.
Yep.
I have little calendar books. Got one right behind me from my last grow, and that's exactly what I did. I got it from a fucking dollar store. Works
Yep.
great for making notes in. Um, I've been doing the notes for as long as I can remember, and I don't think I'll ever stop.
I'm
Not at
not a
home
note
anyway.
taker, but I'm a note taker for my cannabis plants because it makes my
Yeah,
life easier.
yeah,
Sure, it's an extra half hour if there's a lot of notes at night, but so be it.
it's good reference. I mean,
Oh
you
yeah.
might think you'll remember.
Well, not just that. Like the way I see it is, say my kid turns 18, 19, and wants to try growing himself. Well,
Mhm.
here's my notes. Keep going.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
holy shit.
yeah. Taking over.
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage at that age. I think it'd be really fun to teach and bond.
Hmm.
Garden is like a fucking a way for
No
me to
anger zone.
relax.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know.
no anger zone. It's completely just the one
Yeah.
thing I will say, I will not go in my garden pissed off. If I'm having a bad night, I will not water the plants. I hate to say it. I'll let them go dry for another night just because I bad mojo.
Yeah. Don't even want to go in there and piss them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get you
That's
get out of the
funny.
plants what you put into it. So I want nothing but love. So let's do it that way.
Yeah. Give them the love for sure.
Mhm. When
I
I see
think
my bowl, it should have sexual feeling come out of my head. There you go.
I also think pheno hunting is important. Like I don't think I'm of just popping seeds all the time, or like I understand the need for autos, and I get that. I guess that popping all the time, you never really get the same thing twice, and
Unless
it
you breed
scares.
them, even then, it's a crapshoot because you
Yeah,
can't keep that female to keep passing the genetics back. You can only keep the male. So it's
yeah,
and then you might breed the auto flower out of it, and then you have a whole another situation.
yeah. That might be a problem.
Yeah.
Problem that you don't want to get into. Um, I've got a few seeds right now that I've popped. Unfortunately, since my stupid plant count, I've only popped one of each. I actually had to pop two once they got because they didn't. First two didn't germinate, but I got them going, and we'll see what happens. This will be a real slow pheno hunt because I'll grow this out, and if I don't like it, I'll just pop another one,
Yeah.
throw it out, pop another one. That's what you have to do in that situation. It takes a long time.
Yeah, and that's the worst because you how long are you gonna veg them for? 4 weeks,
Very,
no?
very, very short. Yeah, probably around 4 weeks. Yeah,
Yeah,
four
so
weeks will be including my rooting time, everything,
yeah.
because I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm not going
As
to.
soon as I seen a slight pre-flower showing up, I'd pop it. It's mature enough, let it go.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. And then it's the easiest way for me.
Oh yeah. Also, if you're watching the show, hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. Keep forgetting to say that.
Yep.
Mhm.
And always join us back here next week,
Oh yeah.
same time. Make
Same
sure you
place.
stop in and join the neighborhood grows on Mondays, same time. So another place we both hang out when we're available. Um,
Operation Girl on Saturdays with me again.
yep. Yep.
They're so close to getting monetized, so close.
Ooh, Operation
Operation
Grow.
Grow. It's like
Yeah.
960, 950 range. So
What do
it's
you what do you need?
1,000.
Oh,
A
cool.
1,600 hours of view time.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That'll take a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just happens quick though. See what happens. Right?
Yeah. Who knows?
Not really the plan. I just really wanted to get information out and chat, start a community. That's really
Yep.
what it came down for
Yep.
me. Yeah. Um, so speaking of pheno, I know we talk about pheno hunting, and you said that when you pop some of Irie's seed, you notice that you see like only like 4 to 6 sort of variations in there.
Eh,
Now
usually
that's
about
from
4 to 8, yeah.
yeah, that's from 4 to 8 variations. That's from him working it down, doing the work.
Yes. He stabilizes the genetics. That being said, Operation Grow went into this a little more thorough, so I have a little bit better understanding.
Hmm.
But after a certain point of crossbreeding and backbreeding it, you'll get to a point where every seed, when you pop it, will look like a cutting.
Right.
So I think it's like F3 is when that happens. And
Hmm.
the further into it you get, the less you can actually breed with it. It's because those traits are dominant. They're bred completely into it.
Yeah.
So
Then when you try to breed something else, it's still going to come out similar to that.
exactly. So you'll pop 1,000 seeds, you might get 2 of the variations, and the rest will be consistent.
Okay. So there's
So
an upside and a downside to it.
yes, if you like a strain, you can stabilize it that way. You
Mhm.
reverse it, make the pollen, make some seeds, and keep doing that way, and you eventually
Mhm.
get a stable product that every seed looks the same.
Yeah.
That's the
Crossbreeding.
rush dumbed down version of it. There's a lot more to it
Yeah.
than that.
No, I get it. I get it. That makes sense. You just keep selfing it and
Yep,
pollinating it over and over.
make an indoor land race.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the difference. But a natural land race will give you the varieties you're looking for.
Yes, yes.
Right. We were looking at some seeds the other day for sale on, I think it was Khalifa Genetics.
Oh, yeah.
He
Great
was a
interview, by the way,
guest.
guys.
It was an awesome interview, and a lot of their seeds were landrace. Not they only had a few sort of hybrid, and you could tell like you're looking at it going like I want to see it and smoke it and see what kind of smell it's got on it, and then, like maybe it's super terpy and like who knows, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's what you want for breeding with. That's the guys are saying, it's really a good breed stock. Cool.
If I only had money.
Yeah. Um, so next week, um, what are we gonna be getting into?
Oh, well, I'm going to start planning out the next round for the spare tent because I'm going to pop a couple of the 8K seeds I bred with to see what's going on there. But I'm also going to pop some of the Irie genetics. And I don't know when I'm going to pop yet. So I think I might put the selection up here and see what the chat says. Get some
Oh, that
votes.
might be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be fun. Maybe put an Instagram post up and get some votes.
Do a poll or something.
Yeah, that might be fun.
I think Shredder's going to be in it, though. I think Shredder's going to be in that mix. I've heard
Just
such
circle
great
that
stuff.
one.
I just don't want to open the pack because they cost so much nowadays because he doesn't make them anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's a collector's edition. At the same time, so is Space Force, and I bought 4
Sounds
of
like
those.
you need to. maybe need maybe need to make your own seeds of that one.
Why do you think I practiced the breeding project first?
When you get one like that, you
But I
might
think
want
Shredder's feminine.
to.
So I think I'd have to reverse, which I'll leave some practice on that first because if just a quick rundown, if you're reversing a plant, um, every plant strain will require a different amount of dilution for the
Mhm,
mix you spray on it.
mhm.
And if you spray too much, your plant gets very upset. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see what
you,
happens.
yeah. You can use what do you use? Um,
Highlight silver.
Clodia
STS, yeah.
Silver, STS.
Silverthide sulfide.
Yeah, good, cool. Yeah, I know there's just some recipes that work, and I know some growers have their own sort of
Ways of doing it.
what
It's
they think is their way. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Cool. It's really cool. It's uh it's a science and it's an art. It's one of those things that you know that there's a science to it, but you gotta get the touch as well.
I would like an episode coming up here to just touch base on root health and what to look for in the substrates because that's something I think is a little bit overlooked. A lot of people look at the
Okay,
top plant, don't realize that the bottom plant is more important, if not
it's
this
everything.
amount.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You got no root mass, you got nothing.
Mhm.
My old expression, as above, so below. So it's the best way to think about it.
Top of the plant will help you a little bit, tell you what's going on down there, but
Yep. And
uh,
general thumb is same thing with trees. Whatever the canopy is, the root zone is probably double.
mhm,
Is yeah. So if
yeah,
you have a shitty canopy, you can't figure out why. It's probably down below.
yep. And remember that when you're growing weed and you want a big canopy, you want that means you want to leave your root, you want it to be growing for a long time first, so the root structure can get big first, because that's super important.
A lot of amino acids.
That's why up potting works so well, right? Started a solo cup, go to like
I've seen this new thing I want to try at the next round with fabric pots. It takes away transplanting. They have a fabric pot that like breaks apart,
Mhm.
but like the plant just grows through it. So like you take
Mhm.
your fabric pot and plant it in the next one, and take that one and plant it in the next one.
Mhm.
I'm like that could be very interesting if the roots do get through.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah, that wouldn't be too bad.
well, just it'd
Uh,
save the stress. I think you wouldn't have that 2 week sit down from the stress of the transplant.
yeah, I've seen those like where they have like a false like a bottom that comes off and you just sit it on top of the next one.
Yep.
I
There
don't know
you
if
go.
that gives the same sort of. I don't think that's working the same way. What you want? I think you
Well,
want
that would
that
do it
root
to your
mass to
effect.
be.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can it balloon out. Yeah, some would crawl back up a little bit, but they generally go with gravity down or horizontal.
yeah. Exactly. That's why I'd rather take that whole thing off and just transplant at that
Yeah.
point, because I really want. And honestly, you just said something down and horizontal. What do you choose? Do you like a deep or
I'm gonna be
wide?
honest, I've been growing for a while and I'm still fucking around with it.
Why? I choose wide.
Yeah.
It's to my experience, deep
So
hasn't gotten me the same as wide has.
the only time, like even when you're growing outdoors, Jesse grows on Instagram. He's a great outdoor grower. He's very organic in a sense. But he's always told, like he always preaches, when you break up your soil for outdoor grows directly in ground, any more than 38 inches, the roots aren't going there. So like
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna go out more. So he's more focused on going with. So he agrees with you. So that's
Weird.
I've stuck with it too. And yeah, I've been
And I've
surprised.
noticed it. I noticed it when I switched to fabric pots, because when I was using plastic pots, they kept getting taller to accommodate more. They were a little bit bigger around, but they were quite a lot taller, the ones that I was using. And then I noticed when I got fabric pots, they were
What?
wider and the same, 5 gallon or 3 gallon or whatever. And long story short is my plants were bushier and better, and Perp likes to go deep.
$20 is $20 per. There you go.
I like them wide. Perp
I
likes them
take what I
deep.
can get. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I got fabric pots that are narrow, ones that are wide, short, half holes through them.
I do what I can, right? I'm
Mm,
not a complainer. Scrape the sides too. I bet you do. That's great. I was thinking about that the other day when somebody mentioned something about pot size to me, and I recommended um, wider, and then I got to think about um, it also helps with space in when you're growing indoors, because a lot of people are working with height restrictions. So
yep. When you take the pot size and come out for a light height, you're narrowing yourself.
mhm,
Something that a lot of people overlook. I did the first time. I'll admit it. It's like, oh, I'll get these 5 gallons in this 2x2. No.
mhm. 5 gallons what I used to use. Now I'm down to 3 gallon with with cocoa. I feel like it's almost the same pot.
Yeah, especially with watering cocoa. If you get the feed schedule down pat, there won't be a difference.
And I'm not like, I don't have the perfect feed schedule, because I think to have the perfect feed schedule in cocoa, you need to have drippers or some sort of an
You know what?
automated system. Because yeah, maybe I believe you water more than once a day. I believe you water probably 3 to 4 times a day, and not until the fourth run do you end up with your sort of what I would call your full saturation, or your uh drain to waste, because
Yeah.
I drain to waste, right? So you wouldn't see anything come out the bottom of my pot until that fourth one. But if you follow like what a lot of the commercial guys are doing right now, they do sort of like a lights on splash, and then like 20 to 30 minutes later, a little more saturation, because the first splash kind of just spreads out a little bit. Yep. And then the second one will saturate, get through. And then I think it's 4 hours later, a little more, and then 4 hours later, a little more, something like that. I don't have it in front of me right now. I did read through it at one point.
The nutrient company IPP I deal with, I asked them how they suggest the watering, and their suggestion was, so if I use a 3 gallon, I'm going to give it 1.5 liters of water. That's what my person would water it. They said give it half first, come back in 15 minutes, give the other half. Just allow the roots.
They're just talking about saturation, and if you're hand watering.
Yeah.
But if you could get it into a drip system, I think
you're
spreading
golden.
it out even more, it's even better. And Perp says, yeah, but for real, he said wide is the way to go with cannabis. Yeah, that's funny, because I agree.
Yeah.
So I think that's basically everything for this week that I can think about. We'll be looking to see everyone next week. Thank you everyone for popping by.
Appreciate it. We love you.
Catch us on Instagram. Catch us on The Neighborhood Grows. Catch us here next week. Give us a like and a subscribe. And anyone who watches this later, again, thanks. We'll see you later.